Mrs. Whisperer's found out that I've bought myself a heat pump. Look out now, boy! I've got my travel insurance and I've also got my gadget cover insurance. It is under the 250 grand mark, so it's getting to that time of year where the best place is that I can fit it. That water doesn't go this way anymore. I have got the bracket for the RS feeder now as well, so I'll be fitting that before I go to Japan. Going abroad, you have to pre-order your yen. Big winter freeze. Up to £1,000 off. Don't miss out. I think that's going straight in my basket. Thank you, James. Look out now, boy! Get on UKKS supplies. Hopefully Mrs. Whisperer don't have my pants down, that she finds out that I've just spent £1,000 on a heat pump. James the Koi Whisperer 50. It will knock £50 directly off of the price of the heat pump. I think there's enough room for me to put an heat pump here, which will work the absolute hammer.
But I think me and you need to have a word.
Look out now, boy! Hello everyone, welcome back. James the Koi Whisperer. Today coming up on this video, I wanted to run through a few things really. A lot of you know I'm off to Japan. I've been doing a bit of preparation behind the scenes, so I want to kickstart the video off by showing what I've done, where I've planned to be at the moment. I'm buzzing. Japan is certainly getting on the cards and close. So look out now. Let's spin the camera around, show you what's happening. So as a lot of you can see, I've been doing my preparation behind the scenes of some of the bits and pieces that I need to get ready to rock and roll. Going abroad, you have to pre-order your yen. So I went up to the post office, got myself a load of yen. You never know, I might end up buying a fish, but there might not be enough money there to buy a fish. So I exchanged 800 quid's worth of English money, got myself a load of yen. I've also got my passport. I've got all of the documents, where we're going, the breeders, where we're seeing, who we're seeing, what we're seeing. I've got my travel insurance and I've also got my gadget cover insurance. And talking of gadget cover insurance, some of the items that I'm planning to take with me. Did manage to borrow myself a drone off one of my mates, and it is under the 250 grand mark, so I don't need any paperwork or any licensing for that as far as I'm aware. I got my famous DJI mics. I absolutely love using them. I've got to have a little bit of a play around with this drone mine just to make sure I know how to use it correctly and work it out. Don't use this very often. It's perfect for getting some good still shots and stuff like that on time lapses, so I'm going to be taking that with me for the just in case. I'll pop it all into me Primark bag, you know what I mean? No point spending loads of money when you can get it from Primark, you know what I'm saying? But that being said, that's just all my gadgets and bits and pieces. There's a few extra things that I need to get as well. And I want to get myself a decent tripod really. A tripod that can fold down nice and small. And a lot of you know I do all of my filming through my phone. But if I can get you a little bit better content in certain situations, that's what I'm planning to do. All that being said, there's a few other things that I've been planning or thinking about doing. And Mrs. Whisperer's not home today, so I might just go ahead, plan it, get it done, and let me just crack right into this video. So a lot of you know, it's getting to that time of year, and we currently got 2 ponds in the back garden. This is the grow on pond, and everything will make sense in a minute. So this pond here has actually got a heat pump on it. I'm super impressed with this heat pump. I've had no faults with it whatsoever. It only cost me 325 quid, and the fish are absolutely loving it. I do need to clean the glass off today, mine. That's something that I have to do on this pond on a regular basis. But these fish are super friendly at the moment, and all they want to do constantly be eating food. It's down to the warmer temperatures that you can in fact continue to feed as much as you want without worrying about it. These fish are on the feeder 6 times a day. They're coming on leaps and bounds. But what it leads me on to is that, look at that goshki before we go any further. That is absolutely banging, even though that is Mrs. Whisperer's fish. But what it leads me on to, a lot of you know, with this pond is unheated. And I've been thinking about getting one for the past sort of couple of months really, on and off. And the reason why I haven't is because I've been worried about going to Japan and how much money that might cost me. But I had an email this morning. I've just been looking on a few websites, and when one website in Pacific sort of caught my eye, and I thought there's some absolute bargain heat pumps. So I'm going to get the tape measure out, have a little bit of a play around, see where I can fit it, what I can come up with, and we can go from there. So with heat pumps, well, before I talk about heat pumps, I have got the bracket for the RS feeder now as well, so I'll be fitting that before I go to Japan, and I might possibly fit the overflow just to make sure everything's tip top, if you know what I mean. One thing I did want to mention real quickly is that I suppose in theory the main reason why I haven't bought myself a heat pump yet is because I've been trying to think in my head where the best place is that I can fit it. Been debating whether to fit it inside of the filter shed and then run a pipe out the wall so I know that everything's inside, but don't really want to be doing that really. I've been thinking that I might fit it behind the back of the filter shed, and then I thought I can come up with an idea because I want to make it nice and easy for me to fit and install, and I also want to make sure it's got the airflow around the heat pump, because I believe you can fit them inside, but you have to make sure that the fan blows outside so the heat pump's not sucking in the same air as what it's producing. I'm not 100%, but I believe that's how they work. So I've been thinking I've got a few options. So the first option, I already have an inline heater already sat in situ with a ball valve down there and a ball valve down there to isolate this whole system. The pump is sat in situ down behind the back here, which gets fed by the bile unit, which is sat down here. So as this water runs across here to the pump, it runs up over down to here, which I can regulate the flow rate through the heat pump. If I ever need to use a bypass, I can isolate this and all of the water from this pump will return to the side wall. But that leads me on to think the water that runs up over here, which returns to the back of the pond over there, which I think will work an absolute dream, because I've got a return down here which feeds to the side of the pond here, which means I can isolate the pond here, I can disconnect it here, extend this, put the heat pump where it needs to be, sat it down in situ, and then in theory the bypass will be in the filter shed, and then it only means a little bit of tinkering around this section, and I think with airflow all the way around it, I think there's enough room for me to put an heat pump here which will work the absolute hammer. But the only thing I'm not 100% sure on is if I go ahead and order one without telling Mrs. Whisperer. But I thought I got a bit of a plan, because if I order one now before I go to Japan, then in theory, I believe there's like a lead time on heat pumps. It won't sort of turn up until after I get back from Japan, and it would have already been paid for, it would already be ordered. So when it turns up, I mean, there ain't really much she can say apart from, well, that's for me to find out that part, but what I'm saying is, I think it sort of makes sense. And if I do buy myself a fish, or Mrs. Whisperer a fish as well, I don't think I'll be in the doghouse as much as what I would be without telling her first. Or does that make sense or not? Don't know. Or shall I just go upstairs and order one? Let's just go upstairs and have a look on the website. And you'll have to bear with me with the sound for the rest of this video, because I've experienced a little bit of a problem with my DJI mics, and I was only just saying how much I like them. I can't turn this on and off, and this is the main unit that controls the mics. So I'm gonna have to continue to make the video without using my mics. You join me upstairs on the old computer. I had an email this morning saying the big winter freeze, up to £1,000 off, don't miss out. So I had a little bit of a look at this earlier on, and to be fair, there's some absolute cracking deals here. A couple of ex-display models on show. And having a look at some of these deals at the moment, I don't know how much is left in stock on certain items that are here, but I believe this model right here is the sort of big brother of the one that I'm using at the moment. And to be fair with you, the price at 864, 5.5 kilowatt to 7 right up to 18. So I think I'm going to go with a 9.5. That ain't a bad deal really. Just over the £1,000 mark. And this is a full inverter one. And it's one I've been looking at. To be honest with you, it's got 22% off. And I'm thinking if I use my discount code on top of that, I'll save myself a couple of extra quid as well as. So that being said, it looks like there's a 7 to 10 day business day lead time on everything. Also looks like there's some sort of reward system here as well. So becoming a member looks like you get extra points, earn more ways. Let's have a look to see what this is all about. So you get 3 points. Congratulations for every £1 spent. That there's handy as well, so that means that if I ever need to add anything extra like my lactobacteria, I think that's going straight in my basket. Happy days. Let's proceed to payment, get the checkout, add my discount code in. Just want to apply my discount code, James the Koi Whisperer 5. I'm going to apply that. Bosh. James the Koi Whisperer discount code isn't valid for items in your cart. I was always offered a discount code with UK Koi Supplies that my discount code worked. So I'm going to give them a bit of a bell a minute to find out why that code's not working when I was just about to place an order. Right, so I just got off the phone to the guys at UK Koi Supplies and they told me the reasons why my code's not working. Because they're offering these heat pumps at such an incredible price, markup is just not there for them. There's no playing money to offer the 5% discount code. And I said, well, that's not on really. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was told that the 5% worked across the board, but what they have offered is a straight 50 quid off. Anyone that uses the same link or code as what I'm about to show you, I'm getting 50 quid off. But they've also offered that to anyone else that wants 50 quid off any heat pump. If you use my code, they did tell me, code works on everything else on their website, and if you want to add more things to your basket, you can use both codes at the same time. But this code I'm about to show you only works for the air source heat pumps. So this is the code. If you write James the Koi Whisperer 50, it will knock £50 directly off of the price of the heat pump itself. So I'm going for the 9.5, should retail at £1,074.99. I'm actually only going to be paying, when I say only, still a lot of money, but it's still well cheap compared to other heat pumps at the same kilowatt on the market for £1,024. So I'm going to fill out all my personal details in a minute because some of this is a bit personal. So anyone else wants to use that code, fill your boots. But I'm going to go and grab my card number, fill out all my paperwork, and then I'll show you when I'm all done. Look out now, look. I have placed the order and it will be arriving. I'm not showing you the other side of the screen because that's got me personal details on. Confirmation, thank you, James. Look out now, boy! Get on UK Koi Supplies. Just while we're here, if there is anyone that does need anything, I mean, there's some cracking deals on some pumps and you can use my discount code and you can get 5% off any of these items as well. The lactobacteria, the magic clay. Just check them out because there's some absolutely banging deals here, all set up, ready to go. They got fish food, auto feeder, drum filters, koi sock nets, treatments, the heaters. I'm just having a quick look. If anyone needs any glass as well, look, they also supplying glass and they're also supplying box welded liners as well. So definitely hook them up if you are interested in anything. And my microphones are still not working. So hopefully Mrs. Whisperer can have a little bit of a look for me and see if she can get them to work. Because I'm well disappointed in this. These have been working perfectly up until now. But yeah, that being said, you'll have to put up with this sound because, well, there ain't much more I can do without my mics not working properly. Absolutely buzzing about just ordered a heat pump. Don't know whether to tell Mrs. Whisperer before she comes home from work today or after I come home from the Japan trip. What I might do, the lead time on the heat pumps is 7 to 10 days. It could turn up earlier depending what they've got in stock. But I think that's across the board with a lot of bigger items like this. 7 to 10 days is about the time. But what I might do is ring them up and ask them to hold on to it until I get back from Japan really. Because then it gives me time to get over to Japan, fit the heat pump when I get back. And if I don't tell Mrs. Whisperer, if she don't see this video, she ain't gonna have my pants down if I buy some new fish when I'm over Japan as well, because I just spent £1,000 on a heat pump. But to be honest with you, the proof's in the pudding right there. I'll leave the receipt up there as well, just so you can see it, because I do like to pay for as many items as I can of my own. So when I give them a review down to a point, I can be open and honest with it. I can tell you the truth about the product, and I wouldn't buy something myself with my own money if I didn't think that it would be any good. And the little baby brother heat pump that I bought, I am super impressed with this heat pump. I ain't gonna lie, it ain't even been running that much. And when I first looked at getting a heat pump, it wasn't so much the outlay cost of having it, it was me worrying of how much it will cost to run it down to a point. and I've been super impressed with that heat pump. It ain't costing hardly anything. I know the colder weather months is not here yet, and it would benefit me if I was to put a cover over the top of that pond. So in theory, I wouldn't be losing heat from the top of the pond as well as the glass window or the shower filter maybe, cover it right in. But at the moment, my main reasons for having a heat pump on this pond is because what I experienced at the beginning of this season, coming out of those real cold weather months, I mean, I had an absolute nightmare, and I believe that's down to the fluctuations that I had over the winter months, especially the start of the spring. So I'm hoping, I'm not saying it's gonna cure all problems, but I do believe that it'll be a massive help. And I'm not planning to heat this pond to stupid temperatures over the winter months. What I'm planning to do with it is to keep it consistent. So I know that even if it's at 10 degrees or 12 degrees or even lower than that, it doesn't drop any lower than that, and it stays where that is. And I think that will play a massive benefit me coming out of the season. And I think all of those little parasite problems that I had at the beginning of this season, hopefully I don't get no issues. And you know, I've been after a heat pump for months, to be honest with you, and I'm just so happy that I've now managed to buy one. And then I'll add some of the extra bits that I need, the pipe work and a few little fittings and stuff. But I know I've got a load of bits and pieces left in my shed that I'll probably be able to put it together anyway. Massive shout out to UKKS Supplies, because you know, they're cheap enough as they are really compared to other brands on the market. Price is really reflectant on the size of the heat pump that you want to go for. There's so many different sizes that they've got there available. Some of them are limited stock, so don't hang around if you are thinking about getting one. Get yourself one, and yeah, happy days. I'll leave the discount code there for the heat pump, so James the Koi Whisperer 50. And if anyone wanted to buy anything else on their website, even if you use both discount codes at the same time, if you wanted some of the bacteria or a filter or a sock net, fish food, if you use James the Koi Whisperer 5, you get 5% off anything else on their website. So I'll leave those two links there. Like I said, I do pay for all of my products from what I get from them. I'm more than happy with the service that I've had, and I'm more than happy with the products that I've had. That's enough yibbity yabbada. Hope you've enjoyed the video, but before we end, I've got to show you the fish. Hopefully these guys are going to be much happier now I've invested in a heat pump. It's been a long time coming. Hopefully Mrs. Whisperer don't have my pants down that she finds out that I've just spent £1,000 on a heat pump. But to be honest with you, she knows I really enjoy this hobby, and if it does give me any benefits or make the fish a little bit happier over the winter months, especially now it's coming to that time of year where it's all started to change a little bit. Water temperatures certainly are on the way down, and they're not going to come back up until next year. So if I can get this temperature up a little bit, and it's not going to cost me that much, I think all it'll do is play a little bit of benefit for the fish itself really, and hopefully make me enjoy the hobby that little bit more, knowing that they're a little bit happier in a little bit warmer temperature. I certainly know over in this pond, these fish over here, completely happy with the temperature. I have brought it down to 18 degrees. Like I said, I still got to clean this window. You can certainly see all of the fish in this pond are super happy with that water temperature, just a little bit warmer than what it is outside. Well, when I say that, I mean night time. The temperatures outside at the moment dropping down to the minus figures, if you know what I mean. You can certainly feel it. Absolutely well made up with the quality of the fish in this pond, mine, not gonna lie. If I don't see you in a week, I'll see you through a window, and if you don't see me for a week, you know the reasons why. Because Mrs. Whisperer's found out that I've bought myself a heat pump. Look out now, boy! Woo-hoo-hoo.
Right, so I've fixed them.
Thank
They're
you.
done. But I think me and you need to have a word.
Why?
Because I just got a notification from my bank.
I think I best stay on this naughty step for a little bit longer. Thank your mother for the rabbits.